Well, I am going to show you a couple of tricks that are going to help you with your fashion flats or technical drawings. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to place an image as a template that I can work on top of. And we've done this before, so I'm going to go to File, Place, and I have found this image, let's see, this one that I really liked. It's I just found this on the internet, and I knew this was 600 by 800 pixels, so that's how I sized my image. So I'm going to click template and I'm going to place. Okay, so it has placed this image into my artboard as a template, and I really like this one because it's got the body. Obviously, it's got all the midline, it's got lines, kind of showing what necks would be, what sleeve lengths would be. um, it's got the arms going this way, and then it's got the little fold, which is really nice. So just find one on the internet that you like and that works for you. It's really not a big deal. Okay, so I'm just going to start drawing. So I'm going to draw something pretty simple. I'm going to start in the center, and I'm going to try and hit this midpoint. I'm going to do kind of a low top now, or a low neck, excuse me. So when I'm drawing, I generally bring my drawing slightly above the body. Clothes sit on top of the body, so it's just going to look a little more natural. So I'm going to click slightly above, click over here, and I'm going to do kind of a like kimono-y kind of tunic-y top. So I'll do kind of a wide sleeve. And before I go too far, I'm actually going to come over here and click this because I want to be able to see my template, so I don't want any fill at all. So I'm going to shift click and get a nice curved sleeve. Okay, click off that. How does that look? That's a little low, so I'm going to come in and slightly move this up. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, back to my pen tool. So I'm just kind of following the contours of the body, slightly outside of it. And then I'm going to curve into the center. Let's see. So shift, click, and drag. Okay, so this is the basic, outline of my tunic that I'm going to do a technical drawing of. So you can go ahead and reflect this, but there's a couple of things that I want to do before I reflect it. It's just going to be a little bit easier and make everything a lot nicer looking, okay? Because if I try and, well, I'll show you. So first things first, some of these points are just a little jagged, particularly this one. It's just, clothes don't look like that. Clothes are soft, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my direct selection tool, and I'm going to click this anchor point, and you'll see up top the tools kind of changed, and I'm going to go to convert to a rounded or a smooth anchor point. Okay, now that smoothed it out a pretty decent amount. I want to kind of just bring that in just a little bit. All right, let's click off of that and look at that. Okay, so that's a lot nicer. That's just a little smoother of a line. And I'm actually going to do this here as well. No. Okay, let's look at that. That looks pretty good. I might pull it out just a little bit. And I'm actually going to pull this out a little bit. Okay, so you've got some play, and you definitely want to do that play before you reflect it, because once you reflect it, if you're like, oh, all of these points are jagged or whatever, it's just not going to be even on each side. Okay, so there are a couple of other things I'm going to do before I move on. I want to add in some seams in here and down here. So I'm going to come over to my pen tool, and I'm going to click just slightly above the bottom of the sleeve, and then I'm going to shift click and drag. Whoa, that's a mess, but I can work with that. Let me go to my direct selection tool, get that handle, just get that where I want it. Let's see, I'm also going to move that up slightly. Move this one down just a little bit. Okay, that looks, well, no. Down and over and up. Let's see how we look. All right, well now, so once you're happy with this line, honestly, I probably should have just redone this, but that's fine for our purposes. What you want to do is you want to put the line in where the seam would be. And then I'm going to come over to the side to stroke. And I'm going to click dashed line. Now be sure that the line you just made is selected. I like to do a 1-point dash. And you can play around with the gap too. I mean, it's really up to you. But I think that 1 point looks good. So I'm going to click off of that. That is a really crappy line. Sorry, I got to do that again. But now that I'm clicked on dashed line, I can, it'll be dashed when I do it. All right, let's go back to my handle. Again, I'm just kind of butterfingersy today. Sorry. Let's look at that. Okay, that looks better. All right, so now I'm going to do one at the bottom. I'm going to start at the edge and work into the middle. Shift, click, and drag. I've got a nice dashed line. And now I'm going to move this down, not that much, and to the right, just a smidge. Let's look at that. Yeah, that line's not amazing either, but that's okay. For our purposes, it's really just, I really just want to show you how to do the dash line. And once it all comes together, it looks really nice. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with this. This looks great. Yada, yada, yada. I want to reflect it, okay? So I am going to, I've got a bunch of different lines here, so I want to join them together. So shift click everything that you've done, right click and join. Oh, nope, don't do that. Right click and group, sorry. When you see, when I did that, it kind of filled in some of the, it connected these lines, which I don't want to do, so don't do that. So now I can right click, select again, right click, and transform, reflect, vertical as a copy. Okay, so now I can pull this over. And let's take a look at that. That looks pretty good. This is a little messy, and I can just kind of go in and fix that. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. And, I mean, it's not cheating. It's just part of it. Pull that over. And then pull this over. And let's zoom back out. Okay, so this looks nice. I'm pleased with it. I'm going to go into my layers, going to go to Window and Layers, and I'm going to click the visibility of my template off, because at this point I've used the body to get what I need, and now I just want to play around with this. Okay, so now, you know, you can go in and you can add in maybe, let's see, maybe I'll add like a seam. Or maybe I'll put some buttons on it, so I can go to my ellipse tool and draw a little button. And I'm going to move that where I want it to go. Okay. And let's just say I want to make another ellipse that's the same size. I can just click, press OK. And then I can drag it where I want it to go. So when you do that, it'll just make the ellipse the same size as what you just did. So I'll try that again. So I'm going to just click, press OK, and then I've got another ellipse. And then I can move it wherever it needs to be. So I can go in and add buttons. I could, well, that needs to come down just a smidge. You can go in and maybe add the image may be too small for this, but I could do really, really tiny. Some tiny little, okay, move that. All right, let's see what that looks like. A little close together. Let's zoom out and see. That looks okay. But you know, you can just play around with that. Let's see, one more thing. Oh, I'm gonna add in the neckline in the back. So I'm gonna click and click, or shift click and drag. Shift click and drag. And then I can play around with that. Oh, hello. Don't do that. Okay, so these are just some simple little tools to, you know, just to play around with. Play around with dashed lines, play around with softening the curves, maybe add some buttons. You could even add some dashed lines in here to have a seam. And then in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to change colors because it's a little complicated. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye.